Hey everyone, this is Dream from Where the Yokels Grow, where we help you with your gardening issues to gain food sustainability in your own urban gardens. And if you're new here, welcome, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. Everything that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description box below. As you all know, this is the second part of our how to start a container garden, and you also know that I'm taking part in a container garden challenge. But in this video we're going to discuss some very important aspects of your garden once you have obtained all of the containers that you think you will need, and that is your soil, your seeds, and or your plant starts. We will talk about soils, what they are, where to get them. Then we'll talk about seeds and plants, where to source those from, and how to get them on any budget. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you some more helpful tips. Let's get growing. Let's talk about soil. So as you can see, I have a menagerie of things kind of on my table. The most important thing that you'll see is the pile of dirt that you see in the center. Now that is dirt from an existing container that I have poured out on to the table, and I amended it because soil can be kind of expensive and you don't want to continue to buy soil over and over and over and every year. You don't have to. If the soil in your container never had a bug infestation or any kind of disease, you can easily amend it and use it again for the next season. The only difference is you're going to have to add some things to it. The things that I add to my soil when I amend it are bone meal, blood meal. This is for nitrogen in the soil. Worm castings. Now worm castings can be a kind of expensive depending on where you're getting them. This comes from a nursery called Callaway's, and it was $14.99 for this tiny little bag. But I went to Home Depot recently and I got this bag of worm castings for $8.98. So it comes down to your budget. How much do you want to spend and where you want to get it from? Along with that, I also add perlite. Perlite helps with your drainage so that your soil doesn't compact together and become too stiff or hard, and your roots and your new plants can't extend down and grow as they need to. And then I also use just a regular fertilizer. This year I'm trying a new fertilizer. This is from the coast of Maine. It has lobster kelp and worm castings in it, so I'm adding more worm castings into it. Another thing you can do is make a soil. Now this is coconut coir. This is how you get it when you order it. This came in 3 blocks. I got it in this size. It says that 1 block is 1 cubic feet. I might argue with that. I don't think it is. But either way, you get 3 blocks for $24.95. Now, coconut coir is kind of expensive. I choose coconut coir over peat moss, which you could easily go get peat moss. You can get a giant bag of peat moss at Home Depot for under $12. And it, like I said, it is a giant bag that you could use to amend your soils. And if that works for you, that's perfectly fine. For me, it's a personal choice. I don't feel that peat moss is a sustainably sourced resource, and because of that I try not to use it too much. Maybe in another video I'll do a review on it and we'll go into more depth about that. Anyways, the coconut coir is used to help the soil itself absorb and obtain water. So when you live where somewhere like we live here in North Texas, which we call the devil's armpit because it's so hot in the summer, this is good for your plants because you don't have to water them as much. You're not using your resources of water as much as you normally would, and that's a good thing. So you take the coconut coir. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting out here is kind of bad, guys. I'm sorry, I'm out in my backyard. This is coconut coir, and in this coconut coir is just worm castings. And you can plant in this. This is soil. It's that easy. This is soil. You can add other things if you wanted to. You could add the blood meal, the bone meal. The blood meal is for nitrogen. The bone meal is for phosphor, potassium, and phosphorus. This is good for your root vegetables. For those of you who might be planting a container that's going to have onions, carrots, potatoes, rutabaga, turnips, anything that's a root vegetable, this is what you want in there. Okay, so now that we've talked, I know we went kind of quick over the amending and how to make a soil. This is the only kind of soil I know how to make. I'll send you over to some other people who know a little bit more about that, because I just don't do that. So now we're going to talk about, now that we've talked about that type of soil, let's talk about soils that that are already done, that you can buy. Two soils that I use in all of my raised beds, when I go to amend my raised beds, is cow manure and compost. This, I believe, is a $2, I want to say like $2.70 a bag. And then this is mushroom compost. And you'll see that. The two mixed together make a great soil. And for under $10, you've got a great soil. A seed starting mix that you can use, that you can buy at Walmart, is this, if you're starting seeds, is the Jiffy seed starting mix. Now this has peat moss, coconut coir, and vermiculite in it. I have used this. This is what I used last year when money was tight. I think this runs about $6 to $7 a bag. It might be even lower. I'll have to see if I can find it and link it below. But it contains peat moss in it. Now, I'm not against any product that contains peat moss. This one, in my opinion, has more peat moss than it has coconut coir. And in my opinion, and it's been my experience, that this particular brand seems to have, even though I sanitized my soil last year, seems to have a lot of eggs for these fungus gnats that we hear everybody talk about. And so for me, it was a problem, not in the first part of my planting, but when I started to grow for my fall garden in the summer, it became a real issue, and I realized it was just out of control, and I lost a lot of my seed starts. So I don't tend to use it, but you can use it. You just got to take some very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very decisive steps to keep that from happening. And one of those means that you're going to have to pour this out into a bucket, boil you some water, pour that hot water over the soil, mix it up, and try and kill those eggs that are in there. The soil that I now use is called Coast of Maine. Now, I absolutely love this soil. I used it, remember I told you about, having the issues with that soil. I went looking for another organic soil, and honestly, so many people had started gardens last year. There was a soil shortage, and you just couldn't find a good soil, not unless you wanted to pay $30 a bag for it. And so I started doing some research, and I came across Coast of Maine, and I thought, okay, I'll buy some, because I actually found it on sale the first time I ever found it. And I said, okay, I'll buy some. I'll grab a couple of bags, and I'll use it. We'll see what happens. And I'm telling you, I have starts right now that I started in this 10 days ago. I have tomatoes coming up. I have zinnias coming up. I have marigolds coming up. I have lettuces coming up. And in 10 days. And it's all because of the soil. The better your soil, the better your odds so you can be a successful gardener, seed starter. Doesn't matter if you start from, you have plant starts that you use. This is going to be a good option, a really, really good option for you. Now, I will link below where I got this, and this is one of my little tips about soil. The number one question I get asked, where do I get it? You can get soil anywhere. You can get soil at Lowe's. You can get soil at Home Depot. You can get soil at Tractor and Supply. You can get soil at Ace Hardware. You can get soil at Walmart, Target. Any big box stores is going to have soil. Your nurseries, more of your mom and pop nurseries, they're not the big chain nurseries. They're going to have more of the specialty soils that I think they have a lot. I think it's called Green Frog. It's an expensive bag of soil. Doesn't matter what size it is. A little bag still costs you $30. Very few people in this area sell this particular brand. So this is my first tip for soil and where to get it. If you decide you're going to have all these big 20-gallon bags, they take a lot of soil. I'm not going to deny that. They take a lot of soil. You're looking at 2 of these bags, maybe even 3 to fill them. Go to eBay. Your cheapest source to get your soil, to get your fertilizers, is eBay. All you need is the name of what you want and get on there and get it. Most of the companies, because they're big packages, offer free shipping. And I ordered 6 of these for my raised beds. I paid no shipping, and between the 6 bags, they cost me $98 and no shipping, and it was here within 48 hours. So eBay, that's my biggest tip. If you need some soil, you need fertilizer, go to eBay. Okay, next we're going to talk about seeds and where to source them. Again, you can get seeds anywhere. Everybody sells seeds. It all comes down to your budget and what you want to grow. For me, I don't necessarily, depending if it's corn, I will always go with an heirloom seed. Just because I haven't had the best of luck with hybrid seeds when corn. But you can get seeds. This is Johnny's Seeds. You see the package? This is Johnny's Seeds. They have Johnny's Seeds. Now, these run, let's see, this was the beef feed mix. I want to say this was about $4 for a package. And you do get 500 seeds, but still, it's, you know, if you're only getting 10 seeds and you're paying $4 for that package, and you may get a germination rate of, you know, 70% from those seeds, it's a lot of money to spend on seeds. If you're somebody who's on a budget, now I'm going to come back to what I talked about in my first video about being hit by the pandemic and not having a lot of money. I knew that I wanted to grow a garden, and I knew I wanted to increase that garden and how much I wanted to have. But again, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have the money to go out and pay $4 a package for seeds to be able to grow multiple crops, no matter if that was multiple tomatoes or cucumbers or potatoes. You know, it didn't matter what it was. I didn't have a lot of money. So I turned to Dollar Tree, and I was able to get seeds, and they do have mini heirloom seeds there. They're 4 packages, $4, so that's 25 cents a package. The same seeds last year, after I bought my seeds, were at Walmart for 20 cents a package. And I'm going to tell you, and many people are going to watch this video and get very upset by what I say. I'm going to tell you that I had better germination rate out of my Dollar Tree seeds than I had out of my expensive seeds that I bought later on in the year to plant my fall garden. And I will post a picture of those seeds and the seed starting, and they cover almost half of my backyard, because I honestly believed that they weren't going to germinate. So I planted multiple cells of the same plant, planting 4, my tomatoes, I would plant 4 to 5 seeds, and they all jumped up healthy. And I was like, well, man, I don't want to kill these plants. They're not bad. So I transplanted them, and they all lived. And I'll put up another picture where I have a table sitting out here that is just covered in tomatoes. And I ended up having to give a lot of tomato plants away. I gave a lot of plants away. Sunflower plants, I gave tomato plants away. I gave corn plants away. I mean, it worked really well. So this is the packaging for those seeds. Now, this is my very much favorite company. Not necessarily because they have the best germination rating, because I've had hit and misses with them. I really have. I've had more hits than misses, but they do happen. But if you are somebody who has a little extra budget and you can do it, and you're new to gardening, I suggest Botanical Interest. And the reason I suggest Botanical Interest is because of their packaging. If you are a new gardener and you don't know anything about planting seeds or starting from seeds, This company has went above and beyond on what information they put in their packet. So you get the full information on the packet that gives you just a little bit of information. And then this package opens up and it's filled with all the informations of the need to knows of what you need to know to grow whatever seed is in that package. And that is, for somebody who's new, that's really good. Another place you can source, Home Depot and Lowe's. Predominantly they sell the Ferry Morse or Morris, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, in Burpee. So that's what these ones look like. So that's Burpee, and this is Ferry Morse. Now I know everybody who's watching this has heard of the big company that everybody's crazy about, and they have some of the most beautiful packaging and the most beautiful pictures, which is kind of neat when you're a visual person and you need to see, hey, I want to know what that's going to look like before it grows, and they're really good at that. Their packaging is, from a photographer's standpoint of view, they've done very well with it, and that is Baker Creek. Now, if you are someone who says, I only exclusively want to grow heirloom seeds, Baker Creek is where you want to go. Now, my newest packages of seeds that I've got just today that I'm really, really excited about, if you've never heard of Proven Winners, they are a nursery, and they have some of the most beautiful plants. Well, now they're putting out seeds from their plants, and I got these seeds today in the mail, and that's what their packaging looks like. Now, I will also tell you, depending on where you are, so you need to find out, put that back. One of the other most important things before you all start your seeds, you see me starting seeds, and I'm doing that because I know what zone I'm in and what my last projected frost date is. I'm in zone 8A. My last projected frost date is the 19th of March. So when you read your packages, each package will tell you if you can start it inside or not start it inside. If it says to start it inside, it will tell you how much time you have excuse me, to start inside. So it may say you start 2 to 4 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks, and what you do is you find out what your last expected frost date is, and you count backwards in those weeks. So mine was March 19th. So 8 weeks behind that was, anybody know? January 19th. So yes, we started planting our seeds here in North Texas earlier than most people start. So let's talk about plants. So plants are pretty easy to source once they start coming out at nurseries. For me, I do shop at some of the big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's. But that's only when I really can't find something that I'm looking for, and I know I can go there and find it. If it's something that's native to Texas, that's the other thing, is that it's native to Texas. But my recommendation for sourcing are your plants. This is a strawberry plant, by the way. Y'all can see that. Are your local nurseries and your farmers markets. Usually at most farmers markets you will have either smaller nurseries or people who are called market gardeners, and their sole purpose is to grow a plant, take it to a market, and sell it to you as the consumer. This particular strawberry plant, it came from Callaway's. Now I happen to know the ladies that run this particular Callaway's very well. We know each other 20 years, I think, 20 years, and so I know based off container just off the container if it's from a nursery in Texas or if it's come from a nursery outside of Texas. For us, these little white containers, so if you're in North Texas and you're seeing this right now, if you find a container like this at your nursery, it came from a nursery in Texas. Therefore, it is cheaper than a nursery that's out of state who ships in their product. Just a little tip, little plant tip. This particular plant, this is strawberry. This comes from a nursery in Mineral Wells, Texas, which is not far from here. And this is a strawberry plant. I happen to love strawberries, if you haven't figured that out yet. So this is what it looks like. And that comes down to all of your plants. Now, if you're someone who's going to start plants, please try a local. When you do local nurseries, try not the big box store nurseries. Now I said Callaway's, that's a big box nursery here for us, but we also have a place that's in Dallas, Texas. It's called North Haven. It's one of my favorite nurseries, and it is the only one. And they get very unique things, and they try to be very conscious about buying things that they know will grow in this area. Absolutely. They know hands down. They have experts there every week. You can take classes there. So if you're a new gardener, another one here locally is Marshall Grain. They do gardening classes that are really good. For us, our local farmers market is Green's Produce, but we also have farmers markets in Grand Prairie. We have them in Dallas. We have them in Fort Worth. So it's just a matter of where y'all want to drive to. So we're gonna come back to my tips. First tip on seeds: you can source them from just about anywhere you want, and that is based off of your budget. Your soil, I would check eBay if you're wanting to get some of these more expensive soils, these nicer soils. Try eBay. And for plants, nurseries, local nurseries, and farmers markets. I want to thank everyone for watching this second part of how to start your container gardening, and I look forward to seeing you in the third video. Again, if you're new here, please hit subscribe and that notification button so you know when the next video comes out. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And please feel free to comment below if you have any suggestions: where to get seeds, where to get soil, how to build soil, how to amend soil. Please leave it in the comments below. I love to learn. That's why I continue to do this. And when you stop learning, then you stop growing. That's just the way life is. So I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.